Thank you for tuning in to Meet Me Where You Are. This is my first episode of this fresh new podcast. And today I am so honored to have Diana Natale, the owner of Voila Macarons, and a very close, dear, personal friend of mine, share about her journey to turning her dreams, her passion into a reality. I think you'll enjoy hearing about how her perseverance has truly paid off and feel inspired by her journey to go after your own dreams. You can find Voila Macarons located locally in Peoria, Illinois, and visit during store hours to discover her macaroons and all of the other fabulous products that she has in store. Enjoy!
All right. Hello, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have our first episode, a brand new voyage in my new podcast called Meet Me Where You Are. And I'm so excited. I have Diana Natale here of Voila Macarons, who is also a beloved friend of mine and runs a fabulous business. And we're going to find out today all about Diana's journey to attain her dreams, which is this fabulous, locally run macaroon shop. So Diana, welcome.
Thank you so much,
happy to have
MacKenzie.
you.
I am super happy to be on your very first show. It's a true honor. I've been following your journey. We became friends a while back, and I admire your passion, your heart, and your soul. And it's a true honor to be here and kick this off.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be amazing. I know there's a lot of really good context coming going forward. I know you have so much info for all of your viewers and listeners, and I can't wait where this journey goes for you.
Thank you so much, my lovely friend. I love you so much.
I love you too.
So can you tell us about Voila, your current business venture, and
Yes.
how did this birth into the world, into such this sweet escape for so many in our community?
Thank you for saying that. I hear that actually a lot. A lot of my customers, since I've opened the doors, May of last year, I opened a brick and mortar here in Peoria in town, and people truly step in, and the first thing we say bonjour because we like to greet them, of course.
Bonjour.
Yes.
I love it.
But often customers tell me, when I step in here, it doesn't feel like I'm in Peoria. Now, first I thought, oh, it's so sad that they feel like they don't want to be in Peoria, but I think that was not the message.
Right.
And I inquired a bit after that. They feel like they're stepping in another world.
Yeah.
And truthfully, baking macarons, making French macarons, that beautiful layer of crunchy, chewy, sweet, yet not too sweet, and the variety just really reflects somewhat in the store also. I think the cookie itself, and yes, some people say, well, that's just a simple sandwich cookie. Yeah, maybe, but it's a bit fancier than
Yes.
that. It's a bit harder to make than that, but it is truthfully a beautiful place where you can step in, enjoy a sweet treat, and treat yourself within those flavor arrays that we offer, and escape maybe for a moment if you didn't have a good day, or if you had a good day and you just want to boost it. So.
Yeah, and you just want to celebrate life. That's what I feel like you and Voila are about, bringing just a taste and a touch of celebration, and you just add, the extra something special in everyone's life as the person you are. And I see that translating into your food, which is even more phenomenal. Her macaroons are like chef's kiss if you haven't tried them.
Please come and try. We are not open every day. We are open just a couple of days, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, 11 to 2, because we do a lot of the bigger events, and we were very honored that we did cater your book.
Yes,
and
she did a fabulous job. I had feather macarons. Like,
really
I need to have you make some more of those, just
I'd
to
love to.
have them for maybe future guests. If you want to come meet me where you are, I may have some specialty macaroons from
Be happy to
somebody
make
I
those.
know.
It's been really, truly fun. Making macarons started out as a passion for me. I always liked baking. I'm out of finance. Originally, I wanted to be a dancer when we are talking about dreams, and I think that's an interesting thing. And come to find out that as a musical dancer, while that's a amazing journey, it just doesn't always pay you bills. I went to school, studied, did my MBA, and worked in the finance field, which I absolutely enjoyed and loved, mostly because I met a lot of super interesting people where I was able to translate and understand their needs and put them truly into a financial concept.
Yes.
It was a small private bank in Munich, and baking was a passion even then. And that passion really translated into an outlet and became yet on this journey a profession which I truly feel blessed walking.
Yes. And on that note, what advice would you have to someone watching this who's, maybe in a business setting and not just really loving their life? Like they're like, this is paying the bills, but I don't feel passionate. But there's this thing I really want to do. I want to go for my dreams. So as you are someone who I look as an inspiration to people who want to go out and accomplish their passions and move bigger mountains in their life. So what advice would you give to one of our listeners, I feel like, who would like to know, how do I come out? Like, how did you make the transition from the finance world to this beautiful business that you now run?
It's a hard transition, right? A lot of people are stuck, especially now with the circumstances we have nowadays. Inflation and other things really play a big role in our life, right? So you do have to be mindful, I think, just kind of like looking at the big picture. But truthfully, if you have a passion and that light is burning within you, there's nothing wrong with starting it on the side, right? Try to figure out if your passion is making XYZ. Start making it. Focus on that. Rejuvenate while you do this. See how much it gives back to you. And then step by step, just kind of like experiment with it and see, is that something that truthfully also brings value to someone else? I think passions are very important because passions can be that self-care. For me, for a long time, baking was my self-care also, right? So if I was stressed or if I had a lot on my plate, I was making macarons. And I love eating them, and I couldn't get them where I felt like they were authentic to that taste where I grew up back in Europe, right? So that was for me first an outlet, a passion. And then the demand just kind of like grew with other circumstances, sometimes a bad situation like COVID. My business truly grew out of the necessity of being in that Corona situation. We didn't have a lot of fresh baked goods. A lot of my friends knew that Diana would make those just for fun and just bring them along to some parties or baby showers. And they would actually pursue that and say, well, would you make some little Easter dozen or something so we could still celebrate in sad times, right? So sometimes challenging times, sometimes sad times, sometimes a pandemic, which hopefully doesn't come along again, but sometimes really big things happen for you to trigger that passion that's already burning within you. And then step by step, you can develop that into something that maybe becomes a profession or becomes something that you would rather do and actually is allowing you to paying your bills and having the life standard that you want or you wish for or you're used to, right? So I think there's a very sweet line, but truthfully, I do believe that if you put your mind to something, you can truly achieve it.
Words to live by. I love that. And what I really love that you pointed out is that you have to first have a passion, and then there has to be a purpose behind your passion, and it has to be reciprocal, right? So the benefit is for you as well as the community, but it also is your passion, and other people will affirm that, right? Like they did in your life as you're bringing the sweets in, and they're saying, wow, these are amazing. And you're like, and I enjoy making them. And
I enjoy eating them.
I enjoy eating them.
So many of my customers ask me, right? I've been doing them since about 3 years now, pretty much every day. And they're like, are you still eating your macarons? I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. And I do love it. I do love that you can have a couple bites. It's not crazy filling. You can have it with a little bubbly or a good cup of tea, or it goes along on so many levels. But truthfully, that is one thing, is your passion that burns within. And the other thing that you pointed out, MacKenzie, truly is the feedback, right?
Right.
So the community that we are very blessed to be in is a very supportive community on so many levels.
Definitely.
And that people come in and truly give you fantastic feedback. Now, everybody knows, right? We thrive on great feedback. We thrive on positive feedback. And even if there's just one or two people that don't like your makeup, or don't like your macarons, because that happens too, right?
Yes.
Or maybe don't like certain things, you take it so much to heart. And that is something we have to learn on our journey.
Definitely.
That we have to truly, and I'm faulty of that too, I try to truly focus on what is it that fuels my passion. My passion fuels a positive feedback, but also maybe some criticism, because it thrives and it encourages you to be the best version of yourself, right?
Definitely.
So if I get some criticism, I reflect on it.
Yes.
May it be business, maybe as a mom, maybe as a wife or as a friend, right? I think it's very fair to say, I reflect on that. I just take a moment, maybe a week, however long that takes, and see if you can be a better version of yourself.
I love that so much. I love how you use introspection to fuel your passion, and I believe that emanates and radiates. And I'm very fortunate to be one of the people that benefits from the light you bring, as well as the macaroon goodness.
You're so sweet.
Into this world. And you did mention you are as well, you wear many, many hats, so to speak. You are a mother to two wonderful children. We happen to have children around the same ages, the same genders, and they are phenomenal. Her children are phenomenal athletes.
Oh, thank you.
So she's always on the go, whether it be soccer or gymnastics or anything. So, I mean, I'm just really curious to tap into, I always feel like you're someone that no matter what you're doing, you maintain a consistent sense of positivity about yourself, whether you're coming in from, a weekend of travel, or you're coming from a day of macarooning,
Yes.
You are always so positive. So I would love for you to share, what is your best advice in those spaces for us moms, especially how to transition, between the many hats we wear. How do you, make it look so good, Diana?
Oh, man. You are really sweet. You're really sweet to say that. And I think often you see this perspective that you share with me really flatters me. And I appreciate you saying that. I sometimes don't feel like it looks good. I sometimes feel like it's absolutely chaotic and it's not well put together. However,
that's not true though. If you know her, you know, she's wonderful.
I do try to be in the moment. And I think I try to truly enjoy the moment when I'm early up and baking, right? Those are the hours the kids are out of the house and my husband is at work. I do need that hour for myself, and that is my self-care also, where I walk the dog, I reflect on my day, on my morning. I do have often a huge, endless mental list, as I'm sure every mom does, right? Because you wake up and momming doesn't stop when you go to bed. And I think that is also with a business, a small business, and maybe truthfully with a bigger business even more so. It doesn't stop when you close those doors to your brick and mortar, because that is a 24/7 job, and it's up onto you to really make that space for yourself, for your soul to recover, for the energy that basically comes back to you so that you can share that energy. Having a lot of hats, I think we all do
Right.
in a political, in a environment that we are in at the moment. I think we are redefining a lot of the roles, right? So
Definitely.
there is a lot of change. There's a lot of uncertainty, maybe too. And having different hats just means that you can change your wardrobe, right? So the way I see it is, I love being a driver, going to school, dropping the kids off, hearing about their day, or dropping them off for soccer and any practices, gymnastics, basketball, what they like to do at that time, and enjoy that time in the car. Sometimes they're really long rides for us, right? And those are one-on-ones that I try to connect with my children individually. I think when it comes to transitioning, I should have those billion hats maybe somewhere so I can actually visually put them on, or maybe hairbands. Maybe that's the way to go.
I feel like you wear many different hairbands. We should have worded it that way for Diana, because if you know and have been into Voila, one thing I really love about her is how she supports local female entrepreneurs. And the way she does that is she displays the products that really touch her heart and the people that she feels represent her brand as well.
Yeah.
And she has these beautiful headbands that she's constantly wearing that I have a few of too, that I wear as well. But
yes,
she definitely started the headband trend in Peoria. If you are wondering where that came from.
I truly love him, and everybody knows when you're baking and doing stuff hygiene-wise, you have to pull it back. But I figured there is a better version than the rubber bands. So
Yes.
I do enjoy them a lot.
They look fantastic on you as well.
I will give that back to you right away. If you've seen some of her episodes or coming, look for them. We'll maybe even able to put a link in for you if you're interested.
We might arrange that for you. We'll have to see, but we'll see. But I guess the biggest thing I've picked up from you that I think is so important is to be flexible, right? With life. Like, you can't always anticipate what the challenges are going to be for your day or your life, especially as a small business owner, as a mom of children involved in multiple things. But when you have a perspective of flexibility and you can see that time in the car instead of being panicked and like, oh, I got to race.
That is so true.
You're like, no, I'm going to flip that and see this as an opportunity for me and my child to connect. And I can talk about their day. And that is something that is trainable. That's something I talk about a lot. You can teach yourself in these moments. At first, it's hard to get yourself out of a headspace of maybe panic.
Right.
Or bringing the old space that you were just occupying with you into the car. But the more aware you are of the present moment and connecting with your headspace, and this is about my child right now, not about me being frantic from where I was. And when you can harness that power, it just makes your connections with your kids, with everyone, that much more powerful. And Diana is someone I see consistently who is aware of the present moment and the energy she's bringing into spaces and the power that holds to change lives.
Thank you. I do think it's a trainable skill.
Definitely.
I do believe that it's also a hard skill. So truthfully allowing yourself to not worry, truthfully allowing and trusting that things will work out for you gives you, I think, that freedom in the end to be in the moment. And I feel that we also need to be reminded that we are the main role in our life, right? Our lives cross. I feel very blessed that our lives are crossing and we are walking together on this path.
Definitely.
And truthfully, we need to understand that it is the life that we live. This is the one true life that we can be better and the better version. Every morning we wake up and reflect on that, and going from space and transitioning from business or baking or being an outward or inward communicator at that moment, right? A listener or somebody who shares. Those are also hard transitions, right? Sometimes we love to share, but we have a harder time listening, and then vice versa. So I think if we allow ourselves to believe that our life truthfully happens for our betterment and for bringing a big purpose into your own life, and the people that are around you, allows you to enjoy the moment. And sometimes hard moments and challenges and pain is okay. We don't have to push that away, right? That allows us to reflect and grow. And growing pain has those two words in it, right? We can't really grow without pain. Now, I'm not saying seek it out and, figure out how you can dig into that pain.
Right.
But if it's there, just acknowledge it and say, okay, growing a business hurts sometimes, right? If we talk about business, and you've hinted on that a bit earlier, there was a lot of growth and pain.
Yeah.
And pain allows you to look at a situation, may it be with the children, may it be with friendships, may it be with your spouse. I am very lucky to have a very supportive spouse most of the time, as we all have our moments, but he's been nothing but supportive from the get-go. And that is something I'm very, very thankful for. Nevertheless, there were a lot of challenges within growing a business, within going from that side hustle that it started out to be, to a full-fleshed thing.
Right.
And
till you gave birth to the brick and mortar.
Right. Yes, exactly. No.
So let's talk a little bit more about what were some of the obstacles, that you personally faced. Like, can you give us an example of something that was like, I don't know. I feel like these great business ideas always come along with that one thing that you're like, it almost just didn't happen.
Right.
But then, do you have anything like that?
I have
happened?
so many.
Okay.
I have so many, failure stories, and so many moments that at the very beginning, and I'm just going to say this one because I think we've talked about maybe some of your viewers and listeners who are at that moment where they're not sure, can I maybe be brave enough to go into this new space that I'd like to be in with my passion, right? So at the very beginning, it's not just that you have to invest the monetary part of bigger machines, more machines, sheets, silicone gloves, or not silicone, but baking gloves and things like that. But truthfully, the huge challenge at the beginning was that people told me, you can't do that. And I said, well, why is that?
And how did that work for them?
So I said, well, what can I not do? And basically they told me, well, macarons are, unless they're proven shelf stable in the state of Illinois, exactly at that time where we were also in COVID and all of these fears of bacteria and things like that. So you can do that because they're not shelf stable and it won't fly. And I said, well, that kind of hurts my feelings right now because I really thought they're amazing. And I mean, they're sold in a lot of places, and I didn't want to go the route with preservatives. I wanted to have a natural product with natural ingredients.
Gluten-free too.
It is. Yeah, most people don't know that. Yeah, that is so true.
I love that they are gluten-free personally. I get enough gluten on a daily basis. Don't need them in my macarons too.
Yes, they shouldn't be in your macaron. So yeah, at the beginning, they basically told me, unless you can prove that you are able to make a macaron that is shelf stable, it won't fly. So I left the health department because I started out working out of my home kitchen. I had to go through a lot of licensing, right? We're still in COVID time, so there's not a lot of places we are going to at that point. And I had to figure out how this can be safe, how this can be made. And then, they're telling me, well, unless they're proven shelf stable, you won't be able to sell them, make them, or just don't make them. And I said, well, it's very unsatisfying at that moment, right? So that was a pretty...
I think I'm still going to make them.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I actually literally wrote down the recipe in the back of that application at the health department, shoved it over to the gentleman on the other side and said, so these are the ingredients we are using. Does it look better? He's like, still not proven it's shelf stable. I said, okay, I see I have to come back with more than a piece of paper. So that was a hard hit. And I kind of like had to go back, lick my wounds a bit and say like, okay, just because somebody told you no, is not a reason for you not to do it.
That's right.
So I did a little bit of my research. I figured out I had to put up quite a bit of money and find a lab that was actually willing to look into my product.
Wow.
So they also had very big requirements. They needed, a dozen cookies that are not filled, just the shell itself. Then they needed a dozen cookies with all the flavors I was planning on making. And I started out with maybe 10. So they needed all of those flavors. Not filled, just the filling, just the cookie, interacting with the surface, not interacting with the surface. And we all know almond flour as a main ingredient is not cheap.
Right.
So for me as a good idea, so I thought, and then being literally told no, having to put not just the ingredients, but also clearly if you have now a whole team of scientists dissecting your cookies.
Right.
So it was truly a little bit of a challenge that I felt like.
Talk about like walking through, it's like you not only walked through hoops, they were like set on fire and then lined up and they're like, go Diana, you can do this.
And it was really scary. It was really scary because there were a lot of fiery hoops right in front of me. But that was the first obstacle, I think, where I truly believed I have a great product. I truly believed it was a fantastic idea because we didn't have it in town. I truly wanted to bring that to our community. I truly wanted to help people in a time where COVID really didn't allow us to have a lot of fresh baked goods, right? So that was a setback. It didn't make me very happy. And then I just kind of like, rolled up my sleeves, put the headband on and started baking. And I baked and did all the variety of things they asked me. I was sitting on coals for about 2 weeks. I had to ship it in. They had to be shelf stable. So meaning you just mail them. They're not refrigerated, nothing. They just arrive at their lab in the box you've been sending that out to, and then they dissect the cream, the filling, the chocolate, the ganache, the cookie, etc., and then they get back to you with the result. And the result was, yes, they are shelf stable. Now that doesn't mean they look good, taste good, or whatever that is. It just means that
was just step one. After you got through that, and then you had to go in, and then, on behalf of the community of Peoria, I would just like to thank you for your perseverance.
Thank you.
And, sometimes no means yes. When it comes to your dreams and people standing in the way, some people might not see how you're ever going to make that happen. But, you just keep looking. Diana's a great example of perseverance and bringing her dreams into reality. And if this episode is making you hungry, kind of as me, and you're thinking, wow, those macarons sound, pretty tasty. I'm fired up. Let me go check out Voila. I will actually be at Diana's shop. She has invited me so graciously for a book signing event. Yes,
I am so thrilled. We have small business, November 25th is small business Saturday, I'm going to call it. And I really am looking forward to having you. I think your book is fantastic. If you haven't had a chance, it's available on Audible. It's clearly it has also a beautiful cover. And if you are like me who likes to smell books and just immerse into reading, take that time, definitely. I think there's so much pain, laughter, wisdom, and just a beautiful book where your personality comes through in so many levels and on so many pages. I can't wait to have you come in to Voila, into the space, share your light, share your story, and bring your copy, bring the book. You can probably buy them.
I will have multiple copies on hand of my book, My Father's Feathers, A Journey of Transformation and Healing. One feather at a time. If you want to know what's up with the feathers, come talk to me. I'll let you know. And you will also get to try some tasty macarons.
For sure.
To purchase some tasty macarons in shop on Small Business Saturday, November 25th. And I will have more information. And in honor of Diana, I would also like to offer the first 2 commenters free Audible books because
Ooh.
she loves the audible version of my book. So in honor of her, I will give away 2 of those to the first 2 people who comment on our
Oh, that
episode
is so
today.
sweet. I'm going to sweeten the deal with a 2-pack of macarons. Why not?
Yes! This is like the dream team matchup here, folks. You get macaroons, you get an audible, you get to make your life the best version that it can possibly be, the sweetest version.
I love it. Absolutely. We're so excited. Stay tuned. I think there's so much more to come.
I agree.
And it is a true pleasure talking to you off and on camera.
You as well, my friend. You as well. Much love to you.
Yes,
always.
same here.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you soon.
Yes. Thank you very much for having me.
Yes. Meet us where you are. Tell us what you think about the episode. Feedback. If you'd like to be a guest, check out my website. Get on there, navigate around a little bit, and leave your email so we can stay connected. Have a great day and stay tuned for more.
My Father's Feathers, A Journey of Transformation and Healing, One Feather at a Time by MacKenzie Nelson. This is a story of healing, of hope, of excitement, of just things that you may have been through that you feel no one understands or can relate to. I hope you find healing in these pages and understand that you're not alone on your journey. Thank you so much for tuning in today to watch Meet Me Where You Are. I hope you found the conversation helpful and applicable to your life journey. If you want to know more about me or my book, or would like to be a guest on Meet Me Where You Are, I would love to hear about your journey. Just go to my website, www.MacKenzieKNelson.com, and you can learn more about everything I'm doing, including the episode you saw today. Thanks again, and I'm coming at you next week with a fresh one, so stay tuned.